Back with another live stream. Okay, I just saw a glimpse of one of my hard drives. Actually forgot and left it on that one. I was setting up that shot. Fiddle around for I don't know how many hours trying to get, not able to think straight and having trouble that I usually don't ever have on top of that. With just, first I was trying to, well, let's don't go through it. Okay, what I've got now is, I did download Fedora 28 server, i386 server, because this is that's what you need. It's a 586 or 686, that machine. It's a Celeron 2.5 gigahertz. I can't remember which exact class it is, but anyway, i386 is the ones that'll work on it. They never did relabel, the ISOs over the years, and so that's what they still call it. Even though they wouldn't really work on an i386. Years ago, when I first got into Linux in 05 and all the way up to probably 2010 even, there was still some that would run on i386. I mean, there's still tiny core Linux. I'm sure it still would. Not certain, but I think it would. Because it still runs on, I think, 4 to 8 megabyte of RAM. But anyway, they're dropping support for little by little, the older processors as the years go by, and it's, it's understandable. No one's using them anymore, but I do. Sometimes I still think I'm going to get out I've got an i386 and a real i386 and a 486 that I still want to play with, but I never get around to doing it. But anyway, so I downloaded. I already had it on this Lenovo i5 here. And then I thought, and I tried to copy it over. I guess I will go into it. I tried to copy it over to the network, and I want to go into all the troubles. My Lenovo i5. Well, I guess I will. Lenovo i5 locked up twice. It locked up when I was using. I mounted a network drive, and it locked up when I was using FileZilla. As soon as I got started copying. So finally I gave up. I was trying to use Crusader like I always have for all these years, but evidently Crusader does not support SFTP anymore. I don't even think it supports FTP anymore. I couldn't get to connect, it just kept saying not supported. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's an app that I need that's not, stock to Fedora, and I didn't get it in all those groups I installed, and it's just, I don't know. I just don't remember having to do anything ever extra. It just worked. In Fedora, Debian, whatever. Other than having to have SSH stuff, to do that, the applications for that. But, and maybe I know I only have, I'll go to my desktop here. What do I actually have running? I keep forgetting. An SSH agent. And I think that's just for the client side. That's not a server, I know that. So only thing that even has anything, see, those are services. I don't have anything that says server, although I did see something that said a process that said it was something serve. I thought. I guess not. Maybe I was looking on a different machine. Yeah, I haven't been on purpose putting any server stuff on this machine because I want it to run really good for my daily machine, So anyway, we run good for watching videos, making videos and all that. So anyway, I ended up just getting on the server itself and downloading it because Media Writer kept crashing on here and wasn't working right. Fedora Media Writer after I installed it. And I don't know if it'll act up now or not. But I suppose after all that trouble, I could go ahead and try to use it. Well, the thing is, I went through all that trouble me get situated here. And hang on. My lips are dry and cracking. I was putting some. I have a newer tube of Carmex. You ever used? Oh gosh, there's some tape or something just fell off of there. That might have been something went in my mouth, and it might have been that piece of tape or something. You know what Carmex is? I can't reach the new one. I have a newer tube, and it's over there behind my laptop. That's the 40 gig hard drive I'm thinking about using. And that's Carmex. It's a really old tube that hardly has any left, but I keep it over here in case I get desperate for it. And I haven't opened it in, well, I don't know when. And I just went ahead and did it. Something lightweight flew in my mouth while I was using it. Gross. Okay, so I don't know what happened. But it didn't taste good either. I thought it was like a piece of dried Carmex or something. Could have been. Oh, that's one of the okay, that's the Seagate. See, what I'm going to do is I may go ahead and, if I figure out that it's the hard drive that's making all that noise, and it was making it fairly well a while ago, and then it quit while I was getting everything set up. That's the Seagate 40 gig that I have that I think works fine. I'm not sure. I'm sure I took it out on one of those machines in the garage in the last year or so. I haven't done anything with it yet. And that's the Maxtor that I believe came in my Dell Celeron 2.4 gigahertz machine that had XP. It was in those days, and it actually the motherboard got ruined by a lightning strike. Several things got ruined. I didn't have everything on a protected circuit, or protected enough. I think that machine was probably on, I know it wasn't plugged straight into the wall. I think it was on a power strip, but not a computer grade power strip, I think is what it was. Actually, you know what? I think the power strip wasn't the problem. I think it might have been the modem was plugged into the phone line. That's how it got zapped, actually, and it wasn't protected. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I remember we had those TV tuners, when we were transitioning from when everybody still had CRT TVs, and we had to buy those when the year they went digital. It was either that year or the year after. We had those TV tuners on everything. One of them got ruined. It wouldn't work at all. The other one, it just kept working, but it was all staticky, and the tuner didn't work good. And actually, I just took it out of the kitchen a couple of weeks ago. It was in there all that time. And then the computer, and my Zonet router that I really loved, it would still work, but it wouldn't get on the internet. And I ended up putting it out in the garage, and it actually had a built-in wireless repeater set up in the software, in the firmware, and I turned it into a wireless repeater and put it in the garage, and then going that way, it would connect to the routers in here, and then anything in the garage could get on the internet. And I didn't even have anything wireless that well at first. I didn't even have any laptops, and I would just plug in old desktops to it. And now it's about dead. I don't know why. I think it just stayed out there so long in the heat and the cold over the years. It's been out there for years. Anyway, I got my old Lynx that's out there now, and it's about half dead too, but it does about 15 to 16 megabits. It used to always do 50. It's max 54 megabits, but it wouldn't do it in here either inside. So it's not just a distance or anything. Anyway, I've got. Let's go to the desktop, and I'll just show what I'll go look through what I got. When I see it's acting up, there's what's wrong with one of the main. That's the first things it does, and then it gets worse from there. So Fedora Media Writer just not running right on this machine. I don't know. I do have 3 boot errors and need to try to figure out They weren't there until I started installing more software, and they weren't there when I did my after I did my group installs. They were there after installing Fedora Media Writer, uh, Oracle VirtualBox. There's an error. One of the first errors that pops up is unable to ACMODs and KMODs. It's not able to start them up. I think it says can't start kernel modules, and that's what ACMODs and KMODs is. And I didn't have that's. I don't think I had any kernel modules installed basically until then. And so what ACMODs and KMODs do is it's supposed to hold back your kernel updates until the ones for VirtualBox are out and in the repos, so that it won't get broken. But actually, I'd rather have those right away anyway. But anyway, I don't want the errors, but I've been trying to put out fires basically. I got the IBM making noise and bothering me when I'm trying to go to sleep, or if I wake up in the middle. I wake up in the middle of the night every night 1 to 3 times, and then when I'm going back to sleep, I can hear it, and it's really really starting to bother me. And then of course Mom's machine, I need to redo it now since everything's gone haywire since the bad Firefox add-on. I still ain't got everything all straightened out. The one with the serving up malware from addonbrowser.com, the maker of that supposedly safer web with virus total. It's sort of like it makes you think it's virus total the way they write it out and everything, but it's not virus total. VTZilla is virus total, link scanner at all. And it wasn't available when Mozilla first switched over and got wouldn't allow the use of any of the old add-ons. They redid the way they needed to be built. What's it called? Quantum, Firefox Quantum. But it is now, and I've got it now. And anyway, to make sure that none of that malware that tried to, I found all kinds of Trojans in my browser cache and everything in all 3 machines, and so I'm reformatting everything to try to get it straightened out. Now, I've been meaning to reformat the IBM server for a long time too, but it's been fine. But then the fan started making, the fan was making noise. I got a different fan in it, a brand new fan, but it's a 4-pin fan on a 3-pin motherboard. It works fine, but it does make a little bit of noise, and it seems to get louder unless it's the hard drive. I had a really hard time figuring out how much noise the hard drive. I know it makes a little noise, but if it's actually making noise, bad noise at certain times, this noise that it's making now, it's still hard to tell. But when I think what it is, I read, and it's supposedly if you put a 4-pin fan on a 3-pin motherboard header, then it'll run full speed, and it won't be speed controls, but this one does. And I also read one little blurb that said maybe some brands can be controlled, depending on how the fan motor is built. I think this is one of them because I've seen it. I've been working on it, and the fan would speed up, and then when I was using Firefox and stuff, and then when I closed all that and quit working the machine hard, the fan slows down again, and it quits being loud. You can just you can tell when a fan ramps up. Now, on the other one, the gateway, I put not that same fan, but another fan in there that's brand new, and it runs full speed ahead. And I mean, it's pretty darn loud. I can't stand it. I'm gonna have to do something different. And I put another one, the one that came out of the IBM. I put it in that machine, and it's a 3-pin, and that's a 3-pin motherboard too. I put it in that machine. Forgotten what I have my really out of it today. I put it in that machine, and it ran even faster. There could be, I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with the, that mother. I think what it is, it could be something wrong with its controls, circuitry, but I think what it is failure manufacturers and the motherboard makers. I don't think they stick with the same plan. I don't think they use the same pinouts for everything, because you got positive, you got 12 volt positive, you got negative. That's pretty much all the same. But then you've got a sense and you got a speed control, and I think sometimes they're swapped. That's what I think. And like that motherboard, that gateway does not have any speed control settings in the BIOS. and I'm almost certain that IBM does. I'll have to look in there. Well, I know it does it. I just always heard it do it. So anyway, and that fan that came out of there, it has ball bearings, and one side looks like they're wore out. I think it still had some grease in it, but I swear I saw and I did a close-up video of it while I was taking it apart, and when I was watching it back, I never did see them. When I was looking at it myself with my magnifying glass and trying to look up at the screen, it looked to me like one of the ball bearings was like moved way out of place, which means that, the bearing races were wore out. But then when I watched it back for a little while, I didn't watch every minute of it, but I watched it back, and I never did see those balls being out of place, so I don't know. So anyway, I made a Franken fan. I took the gateway fan had a broken fin, and I took the blades out of the IBM's fan, and I put them in the gateway's motor, which was working good and going the right speed. And that's what I finally figured out. The thing that makes them work okay, forgot about that, is the amperage that the fans are rated at. You can tell instantly. This one, well, I mean, I don't have any more to try, but the gateway fan is, well, it's rated they mark it differently. It's 1.4 watts or something, which I looked it up online. And anyway, I do remember 0.65 amps is what the IBM fan's rated at, and it runs 100 miles an hour. It sounds like a quadricopter ready to take off, and literally, exactly. And the fan that came with the gateway, it's just like 0.03 or point amps or something like that, just really small, and it runs at a normal speed. And evidently it just but it's got a broken blade, so it vibrates, so it's just not usable. But when I put the blade in it from the other one, I thought, now, is those, those are brushless DC motors, and they got sensors in them. They got Hall sensors or something, I think. And I've read and watched, and mostly watched a lot of videos, but then I forget all the details, Over the years, I've watched them. Anyway, and how to build an electric motor and all that junk, it's really interesting, but it's also really complicated, and I forget stuff so much. So I thought, well, I don't know, maybe it won't spin it. It won't spin itself up, but it wasn't turning completely freely either. And I got to thinking that might have made more difference than I thought. I mean, it didn't feel like really hard to turn, but got to thinking, well, it just might be a little too tight. And I actually meant to Scotch-Brite the metal, the steel stem of that fan blade, the shaft, and I forgot. I wiped it and everything, and also meant to put a little regular oil in there, because that one actually, the first one I ever seen like that, it is a sleeve. It's a sleeve bearing. It's either brass or copper. I still haven't figured out for sure if it's brass or copper in these fans, but it might be. Some of them look like copper. They're just the color of copper. But anyway, it actually had little red O-rings that basically made seals. And it was full of, it had oil in there. It hadn't ran out or anything. So that's good, because most of them, the problem with them is they're dry. They're meant to run dry, but they get full of dust. Dust is like sandpaper in there. So it grinds on that bushing, and people always call them bearings, but I grew up learning to call anything without rollers or ball bearings or needle pins, roller pins, bushings. Anything that's brass or maybe sometimes copper bushings, and the ones with roller pins and ball bearings, call them bearings. So anyway, but I go back and forth, because when you look them up, sometimes you have to look under bearings, because you won't find them. Anyway, that's been my goal, is to figure out the fans, figure out what's making noise in the IBM. But I thought, if it's the hard drive, then I need to get me, I'll just go ahead and upgrade the operating system if I'm going to have to put another hard drive in it. I got to put something on it, so I might as well put the newest version. So I've been going around and around and around and around, and machines, the IBM even crashed once while so I had the Lenovo i5 crashed twice, and the IBM crashed once. I don't know why I'm telling this story instead of just working. But trying to work through it in my head, I guess. downloaded the i386 ISO, and I wasn't thinking that's the DVD ISO. It's the only one I did find that was a 386. It's a DVD ISO. Well, it's 2.6 gigabytes. Well, my USB sticks are they're 2 gigabyte, which the maximum they actually hold is 1.9 gigabytes. And I was about ready to try to write it to it, and I was like, so I don't have, they won't fit on that. I could write it to a DVD, but not on the IBM. I can do it here on this machine, and I guess the DVD writer will work okay now. I haven't tried it. This is big enough. This is an SD card and a USB adapter, but it's got my Easy to Boot on it. It needs to be redone, but it's actually the only good thing I got to. It's got multiple, it's got all kinds of different. It's got virus rescue. It's got boot repair. It's just a really valuable tool, and I don't really want to just reformat it with Fedora. That's what I'd have to do because it's completely different. You can't just put it on a FAT32. It actually makes like 4 or 5 partitions when you use Fedora Media Writer. And it does work on the IBM and Fedora 23. I just installed it a couple of weeks ago to make my Fedora 28 stick that I redid this Lenovo i5 with. But the one on here still won't run. Maybe I can get it all straightened out by fixing whatever is causing those boot errors. Maybe that's causing all these troubles. I kind of think my swap drive is not mounting. I guess I should look in Parted Magic and see. But I wanted to move on with trying to figure out this noise because it's the thing bothering me personally the most. And right when I was sitting up and getting ready to restart my video, I heard that noise real good. Now, I don't hear it at all, but I've got myself talking and got that fan. I can still always hear the little laptop a little bit, even when it's not loud. And I just realized, I guess I paused it. Yeah, I paused it. Okay, so let me get on the wireless now. And confused here. Okay, now I'm on the wireless, and this one is zoomed in on the. Yeah, that one's already zoomed in because that's what I thought I would need. Could zoom out. Okay, let me zoom out, I guess. And I'll zoom. That's not hard. As long as once I get it set, then I can zoom in and out. Not too hard. It's once you get it set in the right place. That's the hard thing. And I actually got lucky. That's about the 4th time in a row I got lucky and hit 0 when I hit that. Okay, so I always think I know where I'm going to go. Okay, so here's the IBM over here. And I should be on the wireless mic. And let me check my sound and everything again. Actually, I guess I'll let that preview play. It'll take a while. Well, I'm fixing to do something. I'm fixing to stick the mic over there by that IBM, so I'll make sure my sound works. And actually, I guess I'll let that preview play. Okay, so I'll let it play so that when I do my switches, I won't have to reload that every time. Okay, so let's see what this thing is doing now. It's not very loud, but I can hear a little bit of rattling. Usually the rattling is the hard drive. Okay, I'll put this down there, right by the vents. Down here in the front, I don't know which place lets you hear it the best. Up here, there is a little air hole right up in there where that cover is, the top cover. So, I don't know how well that comes through, but I can kind of hear it more than usual. Now, the back fan seems fine. But it's not working hard now. But that might be loud enough, if everything else was turned off when I was laying over there in bed, that I would hear that. But that rattling, if you can hear it, is irritating when you can hear it. You know, when you're in the room is quiet enough to where you can hear it. Now I got to get my good Carmex. It's good stuff, but I may be dependent on it. I won't say addicted, just dependent. I just got a little dependency problem. I can't go without it. Well, my lips just crack all the time. Even here in the summer, where I'm really not going outside hardly at all. I'm staying in here and working on computers. But still, okay, yeah, I need to go ahead and we'll go back to the desktop. I won't zoom in again yet until I'm sure what it is I'm going to do. Okay, so over here on the left, what have I got? Oh, okay, I just have that React OS. I still haven't tried that out yet. That's why I still have it on my main hard drive. But if I go to my backup drive, let's see, I meant to switch mics and I didn't. Still, yeah, okay. Now we're back on the SM58. Okay, I like that better. Okay, and since I've done that, I should go ahead. Make sure that I'm, okay. Now I think I will pause that because I know it's going to make that thing work hard. Okay, so recently I downloaded the Domain 9 i386 because I thought I might put it on the gateway. Earlier, first started out, that's what I thought I was going to use this today, and then I realized, oh, that's for the gateway. Anyway, I already had this. Downloaded it again on the IBM thinking that I could use Fedora Media Writer to put it on my USB stick. But it's 2.6 gigabytes. And when I was running the check over there on the other machine, it said, this is the, you know, the SHA-256 keys. There's two in here, the DVD and the net install. Now, that's what I would prefer. But I don't know where it is. So I think I'm going to just try. I know the file name. So let's see. I don't think I was over there today. Well, that's this page. Let's just do this. I'm going to. Oh, I should have said, well, okay. First, this is the page that I downloaded the other one from. But see, I don't find it on here. Well, it may be that it just kind of... I'm going to get rid of some of the extra. I've already done this, though. Server net install. Let's see about net. Net, INST means net install. Okay, that's nothing. There's no net install on this page. There's plenty of server ISOs. And these are all at Fedora 27 server. Now we're back up to the top of the page. This is the DVD 64-bit ARM version, the one I downloaded, the i386. But that's the DVD. I've done this several times today. There's no net install, though. Let's try just seeing everything that's i386. There shouldn't be but like two of them. Okay, there's a beta i386. SOS Live, okay. Oh, there's quite a few of them, yeah. Workstation Live. Server. DVD. That's the 27. Oh, okay. And that's modulars. 27. Okay, 386 for KDE for Cinnamon. Design Suite. Games. KDE again. Live. LXQT, that's a different desktop. I haven't tried that one. Mate, the one I like, and there's 64 and 386. Python Classroom, Robotics, Security, the one I downloaded, SOAS. Okay. It's not on that page. So, mirrors, let's see. Okay, now that's just a list of files. It's not on that page though. So if it's there somewhere, I mean, I don't see why they would have it in the I don't see why they would have it in the checksum if it's not available somewhere. But okay, so it's not the end of the world. It's just that I thought I would be able to get more that's Fedora 4. That's even before I started. I started with 5. Okay. Commit websites. What's this? AARCH. I'm not quite sure what all this is about. Okay, so I guess I'll quit looking for that right now because it's definitely not going to figure out the noise on my machine messing with this. So so my whole thing was I wanted to do that before I took what I was going to do is unplug that hard drive and see if the noise went away. But first I have to have it making the noise pretty good and strong so that I can yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would think if it was available it would be right there next to the one I downloaded, the DVD one, on the same page. But well, since I can't run it to my USB sticks aren't big enough, I don't want to put it on that little SD card. I think I will. I mean, I could burn it to a DVD. I wonder if I even have. I don't think I have K3B on here. My favorite CD writing, DVD CD writing app, because it's not in the open with. There's a lot I don't have on here, and the stuff I have put on here, I think I've already given myself some trouble with putting it on here. Okay. What do I want to do? Okay, what I'm going to do then gonna have to get over here. I'll stay on the desktop. I'm gonna zoom in, back in on my camera, and I'll have to be showing what I'm doing now with the camera pointing at the screen, which is stinky. It sucks, but that's all I got. I'll just have to tell more than show. And zoom in, but you know, at least make it not wash out completely there. Okay, so when I get over there, and I go ahead and get on the wireless again. Check one,
check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2. Okay, now I guess if I was listening over there, I would know. Those are so far apart to have to roll up and down to see what's what. Okay, let's see. Actually, I'm going to start that preview over there to make sure. Okay, so I'm on wireless, on the camera, and now I can. I'll just switch to something that's not doing anything, so that if I accidentally get on it and move the mouse or something or hit the keyboard, I won't mess something up. Okay, so the now I'm on the IBM and open up the web browser and try to make it work hard enough to make a little noise. So maybe I can get it to do it. Show the noise if I can on the get it on tape, and then I'm going to want to shut it down, take the front cover off, and I can put one of those hard drives in the front bay and unplug the other hard drive. Okay. I am so tired of that stupid pop-up. I think I hear the fan running a little bit. Oh, that's different. There's a checksum, but it's not the same one. Okay. Just go to the home page for now. Okay, now the fans are ramping up a little bit. See, that's what all the reading I did said wouldn't happen. Now that rattling is the hard drive, I know that. See? Sometimes that fan gets louder like that. Now let's go to the back. That's the back fan. As much as I think I've eliminated it as the one making the noise, I could always be wrong. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Front cover off. Of course, I forgot that I could have. I've got that front top cover off. Now the fan's running harder, but it's actually not making so much of that noise that bothers me. The noise that bothers me is, I don't know what's causing it to do it. I've got the strings, let's see. I did it wrong again. What I really wanted to do was show the, I didn't need to show the, well, now I've lost my little windscreen off the mic. Yeah, now I started to take the mic off and move it. Okay, so what I want to do then, I guess, is go back to my machine, my main machine, and switch. Yeah, that I can do cameras 1 and 2, and I need to actually be zoomed out. And in order to put the windscreen that fell off back on the mic, I guess I didn't catch the KVM switch right. I have to go back to another machine, get the mouse working, and then get back on there again. That switch doesn't catch good every time. Hasn't for years. Okay, so go back to the desktop, I guess. Oh yeah, let's switch mics while I'm at it.
Okay, now I'm back on the 58. Now, before I forget, let me get this mic and this lapel. See, I was taking it off of my shirt. It's really hard to get on and off there, that lapel. That's good. It's a good clip. It doesn't let go. If you don't squeeze it good, you'll tear your shirt. And it takes half the time it closes back up on me before I get it all the way off my shirt. But this windscreen is really good. They're real good and they're helpful. And but well, I had 2 of them, and one of them disappeared completely. It fell off one day and I couldn't find it. It fell off somewhere right here in this area. This one here was a lot tighter when I first started using it, but now it's getting loose. So I was not really thinking. I didn't actually need to zoom in yet. I don't need to zoom in until I'm done with, swapping hard drives and all that stuff. And I'm ready to boot to that machine, to whatever it is I'm going to boot to. Okay. It should do. Actually, you can do it without looking, but I want to see the results. Okay, now. Yeah, I think cams 1 and 2. There we go. Now, and I'll take that cam 1 and turn it right at the IBM. Mouth is suddenly really, really dry. Okay. I've kind of decided. I guess I forgot to switch mics, didn't I? Sure did. That's why I keep checking.
That's why I keep checking.
Now we
should have sound.
I guess I forgot to switch mics, didn't I?
All right.
Sure did. That's why I keep checking. Now. Okay, now we have sound.
Okay, so we should be good still.
Good still.
All right. I'm going to move my little fish. I don't remember exactly where I got that, but I think it's cool. It's a glass fish, and it's kind of like a marble, it's got that white stuff inside, and it's got dark colored stuff. It looks like fish guts. It looks like a guppy. And anyway, I lost it for years. I put it somewhere and didn't know where it was. I found it again a while back, not too long ago, a few months ago. So I've been, I had it up here on the desk hidden, and then finally I got it out again where I could see it. And yeah, if I don't have my preview up, I can't see where I'm aiming my cameras. So, number one. Yeah, see that string? That keeps that little TrendNet router from jumping off there and landing in the abyss. But it's tied to this front that I got fixing to take off. So I just tied it in a bow like your shoes. But that was the string I used to actually get it up out of the abyss the last time it fell in there. I tied it to it and pulled it up through the back there. But I don't know where I'm going to put it. This is what made it fall last time, was me trying to set it over in different places. And I'm going to put it up. I don't think it'll fall if I tie it there. I'll tie it to my, I'll just tie it in a single bow there. Tie it to my big old cover that's on my box. Okay, so I can take this front off. There's a little handle. When you pull it or push it, you push it. Oh, and it hurts my fingers. There we go. It's super easy when you get that button pushed right. You get this off of here. So let's put this over here somewhere. And there's the hard drive, the main hard drive. Now you can hear everything. I'll just kind of leave it on my show. I mean, it sounds quite a bit louder like that, but it doesn't seem like, now this is not hot swappable, so I have to shut it down. But I'll show this right quick. I've got the cables where they can be got to. I've got Molex. I even have this one even has an SATA somewhere on this thing. It's got this cable here's got Molex and floppy. I don't think it's actually the one that I really wanted in there. There's another one in there. I didn't realize I had two in there. And if I'm in the right place. There's one. Okay, there's the one that has both. Can't see it. Oh, I guess if I'd look at my the cameras are terrible. The screens about being able to see them in the light. Anytime the light changes a little bit. But yeah, it's got SATA and Molex, and so there's evidently, I didn't remember that, there's SATA on the connectors on the board, and I have a IDE cable stuck up in there. So this one that's really nice and long is actually not the one I probably want. I'm going to leave it though, because I might decide it's easier to hook up to it. I don't know. I stuck it in there the other day when I had this thing apart. So, that might be better like that, yeah. I think I can turn this. Got stuff more in the way, I think. Yeah. There we go. Oh, and I think I can even stick, if this will reach, I can power it too. I don't know if it'll reach. No, it won't reach. I think I can reach both of them. Can try. No. Well, I'll just do it with on the battery for a while there. I'm probably yanking that other camera in the back all over the place. Okay. But first, I guess I will go over there and shut it down properly because there's no reason not to. It's harder to say, well, I'll just hard shut it down. But I wanted to show all that. I didn't have to show it with it running, but it doesn't hurt either. Okay, so it's, see, that hard drive's really not loud, any more loud than normal. But it's right there, and I still will have to take the side cover off to unplug it and everything. That's the other thing I had. But let's see, shut down. Okay. Hear that kind of rattly noise? That's the noise it normally makes, but it had got to where it was doing it a lot sometimes, and I was afraid it was wearing out. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear it, but I didn't take the mic off my shirt. I figured I'd just make a bunch of noise taking it loose from my shirt, you know. Okay, it's down now. But normally it only made those rattly, gurgly noises once in a while. But those, lately, it was really getting bad. So, I don't know if I can mash that button for the side cover. I guess I'll shove it over kind of to the, against the box. So yeah, maybe I can if I can find it. Why can't I find it? It's a big button. There should be a big, big button on the side cover that you mash to make it come. Oh, it's in the front. All right. Ah! Thing is, I don't think I can get good leverage. It's always been, I think you have to mash pretty hard on that button. There. Yank the whole thing. And then if first good yank, it yanked the whole machine. Second time it finally came loose. I don't know how well I'll be able to get it back on there. I do have more room to work now than I did before. So I don't know if I want to go ahead and, I will go ahead and unplug the, oh okay, this one that I've been using is also the same cable that goes to the hard drive presently. I think I'll use the other one. Probably why it was all up in there like that. This is not, I don't have an SATA hard drive. I guess I can see the, I was going to say, I wonder if I can see where the SATA connectors are on there. Not where it's setting, but obviously there's some in there. So yeah, I'm just going to unplug that. And for now, I'm not going to unplug the IDE from that hard drive because I wouldn't leave it that way a long time. I've done it back and forth both ways, and I don't think it's really good to leave them that way because I think they I think once in a while the machine somehow tries to read. I think it fools it and makes it try to read the drive, and this is just snaps in and out. It's really cool, and it snaps on and off the hard drive, so you don't even have to put screws in it. Now I'm curious about this. This one has some big old rubber covers on it. It's kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe that's to make it quieter, or to well, it seems like it'd be to insulate it from getting shorted out. Oh, and I need to see what it's. If it's going to be in there, you have to put the jumpers in the right place to make them work right. Let's get over there on the. Let's get over on the endoscope. Get it under the endoscope and see. See what the jumpers section tells me to do there. I can read it better that way. I don't even, believe it or not, I don't have the light turned on the endoscope. It's just all reflection from the room. look at it. That is so close to being perfect for me to read it. Okay, master all the way to the left. Okay, now the power plug's right up there. So master is all the way to the left. Limited, you don't want the limited to 32 gigabytes. Why would you ever want to do that to any drive? I've never understood that. And then I guess it had something to do with the BIOS of older machines. They couldn't see anything bigger than that. Drive is slave. That's no jumpers. And then 2, master with something ATA. Okay, so now let me get my, I wonder if that would work. Sometimes it does. Oh, okay. Enable cable select. That would be that one down there. That's probably what we want. Master with sure. Oh, that's the reflection of the light in the ceiling. And that's what's causing all that trouble. Master with ATA something. Let's try, I've got one that's even for being closer. So that's just a fixed focus magnifier on that, you know, on my endoscope camera. Sometimes you can actually get a little more zoom out of with a magnifying glass. This one seems to be a little bit too dirty to do much good. So you don't know how dirty they are till you do that. And I could try going closer with the endoscope, but it's really hard to move around, so. And keep it still. I will try putting the, and I figured the light, but I'll try putting that closer. Well, I can't really do that because, and have it under the camera properly. Let's try this there. Oh, now you can do that. I guess it would be worth it, wouldn't it? Okay, I'll pull this down closer. Yeah, now it's not going straight. That's all I needed to do. It's all crooked, but now I've got to really turn that drive a whole different direction. That's weird. Okay, that's what we needed. Limit capacity 32 gigabytes, master or single drive. We don't want it to be master. Well, no, we don't right now, I don't think. Drive is slave. Okay, that's no jumpers. Master with a non-ATA compatible slave. Oh, okay. Enable cable select. That's what I think I want. Because then it should still boot to the other drive and I can read this drive. And, well, and also, then I can just use BIOS to pick which drive to make it boot. So I think it's already on cable select. Let's see. It's on, oh, we want the one that's, which one? Okay, the power, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you count over 1, 2, 3 from the power connector. 1, 2, 3 from the power connector. Power connector on our right. Yes, it's where it is. And I don't know if I can show that. I guess I can if I do that. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 from the power connector. Okay. And then the Maxter will be our next one to figure out. But right now we'll just leave it there. Okay. So this is a 40 gig. So I think it would be better if it works good or doesn't make noise. I didn't really look at the pins. Yeah, they look okay. You don't want any bent pins. It was actually pretty good. When I hung that off the table like that, I could see everything, yeah. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay. Really is pretty handy being able to do that. And yeah, I'll just leave it like that for now, because all you were seeing was my back with the other one anyway. Okay, so only thing that can be a problem is, okay, it needs to go that way for this cable to not have to be twisted, because that's where the locator pin is. That's not a problem, it's plenty long. But if you want to get it in this, then it needs to be so that it will go in there. Usually they'll only go in there one way, because the depth of the drive won't let it go the other way. And this is the way, I believe. Is it gonna go? You just kind of bend around on this plastic caddy until it goes in the holes, if it'll fit. I mean, I have had a drive or two it wouldn't fit. And then you gotta have, sometimes you can put it in this way. No, I want it this way. If it'll go in there that way, and everything will be all right. This is plenty long, so I'll leave it for last. Whoops. But it does need to not be in a place to where it causes me trouble. That slides so easy. Okay, now I think it'd be best to go ahead and slide it in the caddy. If it'll go in there. Yeah, it's gonna hit and probably not slide in there, because this is a really thick drive. I remembered one that just wouldn't go in there hardly. Oh, well, that's not in the caddy good either, I don't think. Or is it? Is it? I guess it is. Oh, no, it wasn't really in there. There, that's in there. Okay, now we want, I have twisted that IDE cable, but it's really hard to do. Yeah, that rubber, it just won't let it do it. See, it'll slide in there this way, too, I think. It doesn't seem to want to stay in the, or get in the places, in the holes. I think as far as this, I think my wire is getting in the way. Yeah, there we go. It can go in there either way. But then that means in order to plug this in, it's got to be twisted, and that is one heck of a trick. I think I've done it before, because it doesn't want to reach. And that's, you know, I mean, if you wanted to unplug it, oh, it's already twisted. Let's try and twist it this way. Depends on which drive you're trying to use, I guess. See, this is not all that long for doing that with. There, I think I might have got it. You gotta be really careful with these multi-pin deals. You can really bend them if you don't watch out. So it's kind of cool and kind of a pain to get in there, depending on what drive you got, I guess. I think that 30 gig is real simple because it's narrow, and you can flip it the way that the cable likes to be. There. Now this, if I can get hold of that, that's coming in from this side. So to get it to go back up, you really gotta just keep shoving. This is not necessary, but the longer one here is easier to get to either side. I can see that. So I always thought this was interesting, and I thought I would try to, you know, use it as like a tester for hard drives, but it does get to be a pain to do this. And when this machine, see, it's clean right now because I've cleaned it up. When it gets dirty, and if even with it turned off, you just get dust everywhere when you start fiddling around with all that. Okay, so I just unplugged the I think I'll put the front cover on because then I can use the button right and everything. But I'm going to leave the side off because maybe I'll be able to tell. Only one drive will be running, but I should be able to tell plenty about the noise, maybe even tell. Well, you still can't tell with too many sources of noise. You can't tell where it's really coming from. I've already figured that out lots of times with these things. But I'll kind of leave it right there where it's not really leaning against anything. Now, I'm going to put this back over here so that I can plug it in. And I can probably show the side. Yeah, show the side. That's where the fans and everything are. Let's plug it back in. And it won't have power so that it won't run down. Alright, now, let's go to cameras 1 and 2 this time. But I guess I want to go ahead and zoom in. Yeah, I don't really need to watch my back. That's all you see with that camera behind me is my back. Because every time I get over there, there's just no way for me to get there and reach anything and still show the camera view. So let's zoom into the monitor so that when I sit down, you'll see it booting up. You can see the screen and stuff already. Okay. And see, all I did was move my chair around, and I must have banged into that thing 2 or 3 times, that mic stand behind me, and did that. Because it must have been bumped hard because it's all over the place from where it should be. It was down a lot lower. Okay. I don't even realize it unless I hit it so hard it nearly falls over. I'm not going to work on straightening it up. It's in the screen, so I'm going to leave it like that. And now I'll do a split screen so you can see a little bit about what the monitor's doing, but also see the fan and what I'm actually maybe get an idea of what I'm talking about. Because I'm going to go over here and put the KVM switch on it and go ahead and start it up. And I'm good. Okay, here we go. We're going to start it up. All right, now it may, yeah. It's kind of acting like it ain't starting up. No? I never did see anything on the monitor. I wonder if I know. Oh, there it is. Just taking a long time. System starting. To interrupt normal startup, press enter. I guess it was taking longer because it was seeing that extra drive. No operating system. So I need to go into BIOS. So that made the other one, made the one in the front be the, okay, it says 1962, no operating system, press F1 to repeat boot sequence. I'm going to the BIOS and just kind of see how that drive looks. I think that Maxter has an operating system on it. It's not going in the I don't know if the keyboard's not. I mean, when I shoved it back there by accident, you know, trying to get that cover off, I might have even knocked something loose. But, well, if I knocked the USB loose, I broke it. Let's see if it'll Control Alt Delete. Yeah, it worked. So the keyboard's okay, but I need to hit F2 or something to go into BIOS. Yeah, I think having the extra drive is making it boot really, really slow. I hit F1 and F2 over and over, but it says hit enter to interrupt normal startup. That's usually they say, you know, hit F1 or something. F1, F2, delete, escape. I gave it so many commands it just wants to squawk at me. Well, let's wait and see. Okay, it went into BIOS, but which one did it, I'm not sure. Okay, so yeah, it's an 8085C9U. That's the model of the IBM. And then, yeah. What? BIOS. Oh, BIOS date. 127.05. I was like, oh, 5. I didn't think this clock was wrong. Okay. PS2 mouse automatic. Diskette drives disabled. Serial port enabled. USB enabled for all. Parallel ports enabled. Video setup 32 megabytes. Graphics architecture 256 megabytes. Huh. I didn't know it only had 32 megabytes. I guess that's one reason why I can barely run the web browser. But it says graphics architecture 256 megabytes. I don't think it has a video card. I can get my little flashlight. That doesn't really make any light. No, it doesn't have a single PCI card in it. I didn't think it did. So it's onboard video. And I don't understand why it says it can do 256, but it won't let you change it to more than, yeah, 32 is the max. I guess if you had a PCI card, you could go up to 256. That's the only thing I can understand. I'm going to leave it on 256 because maybe I just don't understand what it's saying there. Maybe, oh, maybe it's 256 total. Maybe there's a graphics chip in it, a separate chip, yeah, and then, because it would be, and then 32 megabyte of the RAM is also being used. I guess that's it. So it's 256 with including the chip and the RAM that it's sharing for the video memory. Okay. So I think the total is 256. IDE drives, parallel ATA both, automatic, audio enabled, network enabled, Pixie boot disabled, MAC address not available. We don't worry about that for network, okay. Keyboards, diskette, less operation enabled. Quick self-test. Option keys disabled. Wait. Power logo. Option keys enabled. Option keys display style normal. Okay. Startup device. Menu prompt enabled. Okay. Yeah, menu prompt. Automatic startup sequence enabled. Okay. I wonder, all these BIOSes are some of them, well, I mean, if you have the same exact one, it'll be the same, but almost every machine I got's a little bit different. So, okay, automatic startup, well, that's good, really. It makes it work good when you put a USB or something in there. Advanced PCI parity enabled. Legacy free enabled. Oh, well, I wouldn't want that. That means a lot of the ISA, PS2 are all disabled. Let's see. Limit CPU ID. Limits number of CPU values to 3. Work around a Windows NT4 limitation. Oh. Fan quiet. So there's quiet, normal, and on, and I want it on quiet. See, it has fan speed control. I think if we put it on, it doesn't change it until you save it, so I'm not going to do it. I want it quiet. That's the whole point. That's what I'm trying to do, make it quiet as possible. And it's been real quiet until the fan. I'm sure the fan, well, I know it's completely different now, so I know that fan was, I think bearings were going out in it. Access host protocol area disabled. Hold recovery images, diagnostic, and service utilities. That's pretty cool. Secure no user or software initiated changes allowed. Normal, change all allowed, but contents are hidden from the OS. Evidently, the BIOS won't have space for that kind of stuff. It must be a special partition on the hard drive, like a Windows 7 and newer has. Disable visible to the OS as normal disk space. Yeah. So this actually, I'm sure, I mean, I know I've never seen a BIOS with more than so many kilobytes, of memory. So this has got to be controlling, kind of like a laptop does, controlling some of that space on the hard drive for the system recovery. Adapter ROM security. If yes, the keyboard will be locked during adapter ROM initialization. This can be used in conjunction with administrator password to prevent the use of the adapter ROM based utilities. Okay. And this is what? Security profile by device. Enable IDE. I've got it enabled. IDE controller. All devices attached to the system board IDE controller can be disabled using this field. When disabled, IDE and hard disk drives, IDE CD-ROM drives, or any other devices attached to the system board IDE controller will not appear in the system configuration. Oh. Okay, so if I disable it, yeah, okay. Diskette drive, enable. Okay, well, I don't actually have one, a floppy diskette of any kind, but it's enabled and it hasn't hurt anything. Diskette write protection is disabled, okay. Password to request before booting, not required, not required. Now, that's the way I want it, okay. Remote administration, disabled. Okay, this is kind of like a server. I've been learning about servers. This is BIOS. This remote administration for the BIOS, like a server. So I guess it was a good choice for a server, wasn't it? If I wanted to be able to do that, I don't need to. It's sitting right here by me. But if password prompt set to on, it will be reset when remote administration is set to enable. Select enable to allow remote administration such as post BIOS update utility to run from a remote system without requiring entry of your administration password. If the password prompt is set to on, it will be reset when remote administration on is set to enable. It's really just for updating the BIOS, I think. Set password, enter dual administration password, recur admin password when flashing. Yeah, okay. Now, so I don't need all that here. I don't have any gremlins getting in these systems. These are just mine. So, CPI BIOS, IRQs. Okay. Standby timeout and disabled. Hard disk timeout. Yeah, I don't want that because then the server wouldn't react. The disk would be spun down when somebody tries to go to the website. After power loss, power on. Power interreactivity monitor. Diskette serial and parallel ports disable. I don't want to mess all this up. I've had it like I want it for years. You see, like PS2, that's not disabling and enabling the PS2 keyboard. That's low power exit activity monitor. I don't want any of it on for that either. I don't want any of this stuff quitting. Automatic power on, wake on LAN, that's actually automatic, that's all fine. Wake on alarm, disabled. PCI wake up, automatic, okay. Only thing I was wondering about was the drives. Serial ATA, okay, SATA, enabled. Funny thing is, even though you're using IDEs, you really want to leave that on. It worked always. Can't remember exactly what the reasoning was, but I remember finding out that works best to leave it on, even if you're using an IDE, if it's a machine that has SATA. I've lost the spot where the drives were, but I don't guess that you can, you can't pick a drive to boot to. Well, I guess you could do it. Automatic startup sequence, there it is. Enabled or once. If you want to use a different startup sequence when your system is started using the automatic power on features, select once if you want to limit the automatic startup sequence to once each power cycle. Okay, well I like it on enable, I think. I'm pretty sure I figured that out. So I don't want to save any settings. I didn't see anything that I actually wanted changed, I mean. That's it. Exit to set up utility without saving. Only thing is it won't boot, but there's no operating system on this drive, which is fine. I mean, I just was wondering what was on it. If I could boot to it, I could see what files were on it. If I could boot to the other, the system itself. I can still probably do that with a workaround on one of these, probably my little USB stick. I don't hear. Let's check out noise. Enter to interrupt normal boot. Press enter. Let's see if that'll give me another boot menu. Maybe I'll be able to select the drive that I want. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and you gotta hurry. What? Oh, God, come on. I hit the arrow keys and it wouldn't quit counting down. Oh, I hate that. I can't read that fast, people. That's why I'm no good at games. I freeze when I see a countdown. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to start completely over or not. No, it won't. It says hit F1 to repeat the boot sequence, but it's just it doesn't do anything but just show you the same menu again. Hit Control Alt Delete, completely start over, and then I'll hit Enter again. pretty slow at rebooting. Intel Inside. Of course, now that I'm not actually needing to show F12. Okay, startup device, enter setup. That's not what I want. Just got out of there. I think it'll go back to that menu. This is a confusing menu, and having to hurry and hit something without really reading it, really. And normally, most of them, if you'll hit a key on the keyboard arrows or something, it'll usually you have to like go up or down from where you're at, and it will stop counting down. This one doesn't seem to. It didn't do it on the arrow keys because I hit them up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, I don't know if some other key you could hit to pause it, but okay, hit enter. It's F12. I know got it into that menu. I'll keep my finger on it this time, but I want to try to read the others. I didn't see anything about changing that countdown. I'd like to change that. Normal startup F12. I think you don't even get 10 seconds. Okay. Now, the arrow keys don't do nothing. Enter setup, start device menu. Seems to be the only choice. The arrow keys don't do anything. That's weird. Plus and minus don't do anything. The numbers, arrows don't do anything. Home and end don't do anything. I'll be careful to hit the wrong thing. Well, it doesn't give you any other options. Some of these machines that's the only way to get to any other drive but the one that's in the you can't change it, you know, it's cable select period, that's it. So I just have to change the way they're plugged in. Now I could unplug that other drive, but this drive is obviously not bootable, so I'd have to swap them, and that's a pain in the butt. Let's see. Oh, but I do have another way to do something like that. Let's see. What was the other option? What was it, F1 or something? Oh, I'm getting sleepy now. I had my supper, and I went back to work again because I wanted to get more done. F1, that's the BIOS. Escape is the other option. Tired of waiting. Well, that doesn't go any faster, really. Escape. I'm just going to hit escape. I don't know what it says there. All I can see is I get a chance to see escape, F1, and F12. I don't really know what they say before it counts down. Oh, I was looking at my preview and it's behind. I hit the enter key because I saw a screen come up. I'll pause my preview so it won't confuse me again. I was just staring at it, not in just kind of in a zombie waiting mode. Well, it takes a long time to go from that to do that sequence right there when this extra hard drive's in it. I guess it's slow at rebooting anyway. I mean, I don't watch it boot. Escape. I don't know what it's going to give me, but it's the only one I haven't tried. Oh, that brings it to there. And then press F1 to repeat the boot sequence. Well, that just makes it do that again. Doesn't actually reboot it. Just does that and tries to boot the same one. Okay, so it's just stuck in an endless, nothing that works. Let's see, did that turn it off? Yeah. But I have a magic boot. I have a couple of magic boot tools on my little easy to boot. The one that I was saying, don't want to reformat that, and that's why, because there's all kinds of cool tools on it. If I can get this is the. I mean, if you had it right in front of you, it would be hard. But with it off to the side where you can't see it, man, it's hard to get stuff in that USB. Okay, let's see, before I do that, I don't really see any need to, until I start actually, you know, fiddling with the hardware again. Don't need the dual camera mode. So I'll switch over to just the screen. Oh, that's the wrong machine. And this one, it's starting to make noise, and it's starting to irritate me. Okay, now let's get on that one. I think I may put it to sleep like I did earlier here in a minute. But right now I went ahead and rebooted it so I can make sure what I'm trying to show. Okay, now I'm on scene 2. And now if I go over here and get on the machine I'm trying to start up to. Okay. And make sure my sound is still doing good. Okay. Now. And that thing is really getting loud, so I'm going to close it and put it to sleep. That's a new thing I'm trying. Seems to work fairly well. I mean, it lets it rest. And I'm trying to listen to this other machine, and it gets loud, too loud for me to hear anything else. It's just that now I don't know what my stream's doing. And with that preview always, well, at least with even if the preview's paused, you still see the green line that tells you you're good. So I can't really do that for long. It's just starting to irritate me. System is starting, normal startup, press enter. Now I'm going to just wait and see if it'll boot to my easy to boot like it should. I'm afraid it's not going to see it now. Looks like it's only going to see that drive. I'll have to probably go into BIOS now. And there may be a way to change that boot screen to something that's more normal to me. I know on one of them, one time, I had to set it to legacy to get it to just show F1 for this, you know, and whatever for that. Yeah, this is a really slow booter. Hit enter, so I guess if I would just hit F1, I'd go straight to BIOS. I did that a while. Well, I was hitting F1 and F2 and enter. I never did figure out. What is it? F2 is what? Once you get there, I think it's F2 to go to BIOS. Oh, it's F1. There we go. Now, startup. Enable if you want to use a different startup sequence when your system started using the automatic power on feature. Select once if you want to limit the automatic startup sequence to once each power cycle. This one is pretty sucky about disks setup. All I know to do is change it to once and see what happens. Because it's definitely not working the way it is. Save settings and exit, and let's see what happens. Doesn't have a, if it has it, why didn't that save configuration? Oh, you exit. There we go. Weird one. Usually it's save and exit. Okay, so unless this thing won't boot to my little USB stick at all, it's possible it won't. Now I can finally hear the machine, kind of get an idea of what, even if it's not as loud as it's been sounding to me, I can at least hear what sound it's making. If it don't start up on my easy to boot stick this time, I'll have to try a CD, I guess. Well, I didn't realize how loud that thing, it has a, when it starts blowing the fan real hard, that little Dell 6000, it does get loud. It's just not one of those super irritating sounds. I just now realized. But after a while, might start get irritating. You gotta hit. Why does it say F1 to retry? That's dumb. F1 is for going to BIOS. I hit Control Alt Delete, and this time I'm just gonna hit F1 as soon as I see light. See if it'll go straight to BIOS instead of me having to go through all those steps. Maybe a better way to set that. I kind of saw something like that a minute ago, but I'm tired. Not comprehending real good. So first, I didn't know what I was doing all day. Now I'm just tired. So either way, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I guess you got to hit enter. It wasn't going to do it, I don't think. Well, I don't know. It beeped at me when I hit F1 a bunch of times and it didn't seem to be doing anything. So then I had enter because I thought, oh no, I better do it before I lose it. Then it beeped at me. So I'll wait. There, it was going. I think it was on its way to BIOS in the first place. Okay, I'm going to put that back on the way it was, enabled. And save and exit setup. Now, I don't think it'll boot, but I'll be able to. Now I'm worried about whether or not my stream's still good. Never know. So I need to get a CD that I have called Plop Boot Disc. And yeah, I think I saw that it was up to date because I think I just saw myself taking my pillow down. And Plop Boot Disc will, well, this is Plop Linux, but I think you can install Plop. Oh, well, that's not what I want to do. This is Plop Linux. This is like a whole operating system. I've got some stuff that'll have just a special. Just the Plop Boot Manager is what I want, not the whole thing. Now I don't remember which one has it. I don't use my CDs much anymore. There we go. Rescue Tux. Super Grub Disk. I think Super Grub Disk is just a boot, just to find what you want to boot to. I don't think it's the one. I think it's the one that doesn't. There's one. There was like Super Grub Disk would fix them, and then Super Grub Disk 2 would only boot to what you wanted. You know, let you pick something to boot to. So. Already did through its whole thing while I was sitting there trying to figure out something. The CD doesn't want to open. Come on. It's not even responding. Plugged in, isn't it? Yeah, it seems to be plugged in. And it seems to be really dirty. I had a feeling when I stuck my hand in there that I was going to do something I didn't want to do. I thought, well, I'll be careful and not cut myself. That wasn't, which I was, but, and it was a concern. But yeah, it won't even open. I don't know, that might be one of the ones that won't open unless you, see if it'll open while it's rebooting. I'm just going to keep hitting it. And of course it'll go right back in. If I'm fast I might get something in it, but I don't even see the light on it. That's why I wondered if it was plugged in. It's kind of loud now. Hit enter when I saw the lights. I have a, where is it? It should be right here. I'm done with that. I have a paper clip all bent special just to take care of that problem. I must have stuck it in here. Oh, I was trying to hit F12, but I wasn't fast enough. It was said F12 you could choose a temporary startup device. But it doesn't, there it is, but it doesn't work. So I'm going to force this darn thing open then. I don't know why it won't open. That is if I can find the place to put the paper clip. There. Open. Sesame. I hate doing that. Sometimes they don't work right for a long time after that. Yeah. Especially if you have to force them shut. It keeps recentering the. This one's great when you just when you don't try to get it to do anything. But if you try to, I hadn't realized how much trouble it was. And you don't have anything to choose from when you go into F12 for other devices, and that just puts me into BIOS. It's enable. Disketless operation, keyboardless operation. Yeah. Exit without saving any changes. See if it'll see that CD. I think the other 30 gig hard drive has some sort of operating system that would, for Linux, that would probably boot on there, but that's not actually my goal. My goal is to, I just wanted to check out that hard drive. That's all I was really wanting. And this machine is not turning out to be very easy. I guess that's why one of the main reasons I didn't keep doing that, because look how much pain in the butt it is to get it to, you can't get it to boot when you stick another hard drive in that other deal. And I don't think I can get I don't think the cables will reach if you try to plug that other one in the front and the other one, you know, swap the way they're plugged in. Oh, I have the other drive completely unplugged. But why won't the CD drive work? Well, that's why I can't see the other hard drive. Why didn't you tell me that? This is just the day of not knowing what, having a clue of what I'm doing. Oh. Oh. Somehow, I have managed to unplug. Let's turn it off. Somehow I managed to unplug both of those, and I did not. I wonder if I had unplugged that a long time ago or something and didn't remember it. Why would I do that? I did not just now unplug two cables. I know I didn't. I shouldn't argue with I shouldn't argue about any of it. Okay, there's this the CD-ROM on the top, and here's the cable, which, you know, this end was stuck on around there. It's got the SATA and a Molex, and then this one has two Molexes. So this belongs, I don't know which way you got to twist it, but there's where it would plug in. I can feel it. I can't really see it, but now that hard drive, the machine wouldn't have been running at all if it hadn't been plugged into this hard drive. And I didn't unplug two of them. I unplugged one. Now which one, I'm not sure anymore. But yeah, this is the one that should have just be in there like that. So that's why neither, I mean, I should have realized that, of course, it's not gonna see the drive, the other drive, so that I can boot to it and inspect this extra drive when it's not plugged in, but when did I unplug both of them? I just wonder if that, it's not that loose that it could just fall out. I wonder if I had, as easy as that was to get to when I unplugged it, I think maybe I did unplug the CD drive just earlier. But that doesn't make sense either, because I don't know. I just cannot imagine me. I specifically only remember unplugging one drive, you know, not two. So, okay. Well, if I don't work when I don't feel good, I get absolutely nothing done. And if I work whenever I can't, when I'm questionable, then I just go in circles. So I don't know what's better. Which machine do I want on? Okay. I did not think I was going to go in circles this bad today, though. And of course, when I get my headset, I want to do something. I want to do it, and I don't want to quit, even if I do finally start realizing that, hey, I'm not thinking good. But, okay, that's ready. Contact. But it should have booted to that USB, though. If it would boot to the USB properly, I mean, maybe that one doesn't. That could be one that won't. I don't think that's old enough to not boot to USB. Okay, now there's my operating system. It didn't boot to the CD. That's why there's no light on the CD-ROM drive. Almost if I can get it out of there before it jacks things up. Maybe I had it out. You know what? When I was trying to figure out the noises in this thing, I bet you I unplugged it then and never remembered to plug it back in. Yeah, had to have. The last time I was working on it, and I was trying to figure out what was making noise, I unplugged it to eliminate it as a noise source. Never have plugged it back in. And I guess if I tried to use it, I forgot that it wasn't working. Probably hadn't tried to use it. So it's booting up just like normal now. So, well, I kept thinking, because see, usually the one on the end, when you do boot, what do you call it? When you boot by the cable, you know, cable order of the cable. The one on the end, well, not on all machines, but usually the one on the end of the cable is the first one by default, and the one in the middle of the cable is the second drive by default. If they're both on cable select, that's what it's called, cable select. Sometimes they'll fool you and be just the opposite, but most of them are like that. I think I already put up my password for that. I don't have any more room for sticky notes. Whenever I swing my mic around, it knocks stuff off of there now. Typing stuff from memory that's wrong. I start mixing up passwords from different machines. When I start one and then I go to a different machine in my head. I think I remember it, but I'm remembering the wrong machine. Now let's hear this one. There's that hard drive. Of course, there's two in there now. But I didn't hear a thing until I plugged that one in. Usually underneath the little hard drive, it's rattles. But can you hear that fan too? Go over there towards the fan. And up here in the front with that cover off. Just not quiet anymore. It never was completely quiet, but it's definitely louder than it was. I mean, it got really loud when I had the fan that was going out in there. But I'm too tired to install the whole operating system or anything. Well, I still don't have a medium burnt for it either, so my old Dell laptop, I had to build up a install partition. Basically, I built my own recovery partition so that I can install, because the DVD drive wouldn't work right on it, and I didn't, and it was 3 gigabyte, the Windows 7 ISO, wouldn't fit none of my USB sticks. That's before I had the SD card. So I did it that way. I could do that on here, I guess. Figure out a way. Well, how could I do that? That'd be different on there, because that Fedora setup thing, it just uses the whole. Turn it off and turn it back on, see if it'll line up. It's not lined up. I can't stand it when they're like that. There we go. If I did set up a hard drive that way, I think I would have to do. I wouldn't do it to the. Well, I don't want to lose the files that are on there right now. The 80 gig hard drive. I got a lot of stuff on there now. I've got the backups of my blog on there, and I've got, well, some of those new ISOs. They're not that big a deal. I can re-download them, but anyway, it's not backed up completely yet. And before I want to go backing all that stuff up to my newly clean backup drive, I'd want to scan this thing for viruses too. So I thought, well, I'll just take that drive out of there if it's noisy and do whatever. I can put it somewhere else to scan it, you know, put it in a faster machine. I have a USB adapter that's, the only reason I don't use it much anymore, its power supply died, and but I can just plug in a Molex from a power supply amp and it'll work great. But every time, the hard drives, when you plug them in with the power supplies being plugged into my car amps that power my stereo system, all those hard drives make noise in them and I can't stand it. So, but I do have one other way to do it. I actually extended one of the Molex cables in my old server that's my footstool, and I can just turn it, even though it's not running, you know, it's powered up, even though there's a hard drive in it that's bad. And I stuck it in there to trying to see if I could make it work, fix it. And I didn't, and then I quit messing with it. But anyway, you can power it up, and it'll give 12 volts to a hard drive, and I can do that. I keep forgetting that. But anyway, I can take this hard drive out and put whichever one in there that I want to actually use. And it doesn't need, I don't want it in the front really, because I don't think it gets enough airflow. I think it'll get hot. In fact, I remember, yeah, I used to keep one in there, an extra hard drive, and it was really getting hot up there. So I want it up in the regular hard drive cage. Now let's see what we got. Let's see if the, okay. No, it is not seeing. Oh, 48 gigabyte, 500 megabyte. See, that's just this system. Okay, that is the actual root of this system. Run. Media, there's no media. Okay. And then that's 35.3 gigabyte. That's basically the root partition. 23.6. What is that? Dawn. Okay, that's my home partition. Yeah, okay. And then 500 megabytes is going to be the boot partition with grub. Yeah. Okay, so that's all that's showing up here. Oops. Okay. I mean, as far as it running, there's no problems. It just runs like a top. It's just making noise and bothering me. So that hard drive must not even have a partition on it. So, wait. I'm so in the habit of using that one this one actually works better on XFCE. Okay, disk management, disks. I don't know if it has Gparted on here or not. Yeah, it does. Okay. Oh, I need the root password. Yeah, every time, Fedora 23, ever since it went EOL, every time you type in the root, need to type in the root password, it gives the SC Linux alert. It doesn't stop you from doing it, but it gives an SC Linux alert. Yeah, ext4, boot partition 500, LVM PV, SDA2. They're kind of combined in this new it's a new type of LVM PV. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't even see that other drive. Ah, maybe broke. Okay, let's see if I have test disk on here. It says run test disk. Let's see if it will do it. That didn't look like it was the thing that would work. I'd probably need to run parted magic and do it that way. Let's see. Let's try to do it in the terminal window. Starting to need a break again. I was dying of thirst, and I still am. I've drank almost half of this big old cup of water. And when I say big, I mean big. And so now I'm about to die. Go ahead and get root privileges because you... Oops, I messed up. Just type test disk. Let's see. Yeah, it's on here. Just wouldn't run from that little icon. Okay, so I'm going to create a select a media to use. Okay. Okay, the 80 gigabyte, all those are good. We don't want to mess with those. But there is a Maxter 48 gigabyte. 48 gigabyte? That's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah. 23, 48, and 2048 megabyte. That's the swap partition. Okay, 48. Oh, it says the model number. The 6L. Yeah, the 80 gigabyte / 74 gigabyte Maxter 6L080L4. That's the same one. So even test disk can't see this drive. Oh. I probably have never, if I have tried to check it out, I haven't. I didn't remember because I don't have any note. Usually I put a sticky note on them and tell you know, anything like that, so I don't keep going over, doing the same thing over and over. So yeah, that's all the same drive. It does not even see the drive, so I'm not going to fiddle around with it anymore. Okay, so that's a Seagate or something, that one with the rubber covers on it. It could be completely bad. Doesn't rattle or anything. We can get over there and feel of it and see if it's spinning. Feels like it's vibrating, like it's running. And I would try to take the front cover off so I could open the little hatch, but it would probably just shut the machine down or something. I don't really remember if I can get away with doing that. So I'm going to shut the machine down. I'm going to have to take a break. I mean, I'm going to want to take it out and put the Maxter 30 gig in there, because I'll fool with that later. I'll just put a note on it that can't be seen by G-parted or test disk. But I'm going to have to take me a break. I guess I'll have to take a break, and if I continue, then I will have to come back. Shut down fast that time. So it was just taking forever looking for a drive, I guess. Took me forever to get that thing on. There's something there. Let's see. I think it's a Seagate 40 gig. Can't see. Can't see drive. Okay. Make sure I write that down. So, oh, that one showed me. Yeah, so that drive, it's up in there now. Where is it? Right there. That's it. That's the one. Okay, I'll have to get it out, but I can't keep going without a break. So, going ahead and go take my break, and then hopefully I'll come back here in a minute and do that.